She rejects everyone. Love is trash. She has no heart, but behind doors, she attacks him. She is desperate. After the absolute chaos of that day, Minato assumed his peaceful routine was back. Fat chance. He spotted Nei sprinting down the hall like she was escaping the cops. She didn't even tap the brakes, slamming into him with a full-force tackle. Minato froze, completely blindsided by the sudden fan service attack. Then she looked up, face burning red, and dropped a nuclear request. She wanted a kiss. Another brave soul stepped up to confess to the school idol, Nanase Rei. She took the love letter, smiling like a literal saint. Poor guy thought he just hit the jackpot. Then she ripped his hopes and dreams right in half. She wasn't about to date a coward who couldn't ask her face to face. She tossed the confetti right in his face and left him absolutely deleted in the hallway. The peanut gallery confirmed her status as the cold-hearted princess. She was the ultimate boss fight. Athletic, smart, and totally ruthless. Minato thought about that terrifying nickname, while Kanata asked if he wanted a piece of that action. Kanata was actually hyped to try it himself, called it the thrill of climbing an unconquerable mountain. Minato couldn't relate to that self-delete mission at all, though Kanata admitted he wasn't ready to take the L just yet. Minato is living a double life of pure awkwardness. He sits next to the so-called cold-hearted princess in class, only to clock in and suffer the exact same silence at his part-time job. They pretend the other does not exist, which makes the manager's constant teasing absolutely unbearable. She corners him in the back, freaking out that a high-class noble is slumming it in a cafe. Minato shrugs it off. He reminds her that he and Rei are basically strangers with matching aprons. The manager orders him to step up and be the one who understands her. He tries to play it cool, but let's be real, she is way too cute to ignore. Suddenly, the vibe shifts. A self-proclaimed CEO's son slams his hand down, demanding she sell herself instead of coffee. Minato tries to de-escalate, but the creep doubles down. He flashes his cash and promises to buy her the world if she just smiles. Rei shuts him down instantly. She hits him with a death stare that sends him scrambling out the door. She brushes off the manager's panic like it is nothing. That is exactly why everyone calls her the Ice Princess. As she clocks out for the night, Minato walks away hyped. He thinks she is the toughest person he knows. But then he realizes something. Her hand was shaking. She was not fearless. She was just holding it together. Minato hears a commotion nearby. It is Nanas. She is cornered by a greaser who thinks the word no is just a suggestion. She calls him trash, but that just bruises his ego. He snaps, grabbing her arm to force some respect. He swings her around like a toy. Minato hesitates, assuming the Ice Princess can handle herself. Then he sees the tears. She is actually terrified. Screw staying low-key. He sprints. He comes in with a flying kick. He misses the game ender but deletes the pompadour. The thug is devastated. Minato steps in. He warns him, touch her again, and the next one will not miss. The guy goes feral and starts throwing hands. Minato does not even blink. He weaves through the punches like they are in slow motion. He is in total control. He catches the arm and crushes it. The thug screams, immediately playing the My Dad is Rich card. Bad move. Nanase reveals her family owns his dad's company. The guy's brain completely short-circuits. She smiles and threatens to snitch. He hits the floor begging, then gets out of there at Mach speed. Rei swayed, looking ready to faceplant. Minato reached out to steady her, but she slapped his hand away instantly. She put her guard up, demanding to know the bill. What exactly did she owe him for the save? Minato didn't flinch, he just shrugged. He saw a friend in trouble and jumped in. No strings attached. She stared at him, totally lost. He knew pointing out her fear would be a low blow, so he dropped the ultimate anime cliche. His body just moved on its own. That finally broke her. She cracked up at the corniness, and just like that, the tension melted away. Rei turned into a blushing fidget spinner, barely squeezing out a thank you. She bailed immediately, and Minato tried to stop her. He was too slow, left standing there like a dazed NPC. She sprinted down the street to clear her head. She finally stopped, leaning on a pillar to breathe. She laughed it off, wondering why he played the hero. A limo pulled up, her chauffeur panicked, but she brushed him off. She slid inside, face serious, demanding answers about the old man. The next day brought a harsh reality check. Minato was at work, pouring coffee while his brain buffered. His manager demanded a customer service smile. He sighed. He hates drama, but he was drowning in it. Nanaste started acting glitchy all day. She popped up everywhere, claiming it was total coincidence. She threw winks at him like shurikens. She even hijacked his lunch table, sliding right in. Then she dropped a smile that could melt steel beams. Every look was a signal he couldn't decode. By evening, the gossip squad was already whispering. Minato groaned, feeling the headache set in. His peaceful, boring life was officially game ended. He escaped to his job, absolutely cooked. He stumbled out, worrying his boss. He was just thankful she wasn't on the schedule today. Minato thought he was safe to change gear, but Nanase Rei spawns in the locker room, hiding her blush behind a textbook. She locks the door, claiming she has official business. Minato starts panic sweating. She slams the door and hits him with a grapple hug. He demands an explanation, but she says she's just hugging him, then starts rubbing against him like a lonely cat. She dives in for a sniff check, complimenting his scent. Minato's brain breaks. This girl is famous for being the cold-hearted princess, but right now her software is completely glitching out. He tries to peel her off before this turns into a scandal. She hits the spin move, refusing to let go. He begs to know the price for his freedom. She mumbles a quiet request, then grabs his jaw, forcing intense eye contact. The ransom is simple. If he wants to leave, he has to kiss her. Minato screams, realizing the Ice Queen just melted into a puddle. Nanase Rei, the school's untouchable Ice Queen, leaned in with a request that absolutely broke the simulation. The entire hallway watched their idol's pristine reputation nosedive straight into the pavement. Minato hit the brakes hard, shutting that nonsense down instantly. He reminded her she wasn't his girlfriend, just a classmate. The math wasn't mathing. She pouted like a rejected puppy. Then she dropped her demands to a simple hug, leaving him questioning her sanity. She glued herself to him, shattering his image of the cold princess. She held him hostage, refusing to let go until he paid the toll. Minato realized his stamina bar was dropping fast. He had to act. He offered a trade, one hug for his freedom. She nodded like a bobblehead. He said, "Screw it," and wrapped his arms around her. But instead of cringe, he actually felt pretty good. Suddenly, the manager knocked, threatening to expose their unauthorized fan service. Minato panicked, yelling he was fine while sweating bullets. He whispered for her to detach immediately, but she just snuggled in deeper, completely ignoring the danger. He realized the hallway was a trap and invited her to his place to escape. Her brain short-circuited at the thought of entering his base. He clarified it was a solo bachelor pad, not a castle. She didn't care about the details, just the destination. Minato's place is basically a fortress towering over the city. Inside, Rei is trying her hardest to look polite on the couch, but let's be real, the urge to snoop is winning. She's scanning the room like a spy looking for secrets. Minato sets down the coffee and tells her to chill out. She smiles, noting that at least his place is clean enough for her high standards. He puts the cup down because he needs answers right now. She doesn't even blink. It's simple, she likes him. He freezes. Why would a literal princess want a nobody like him? She reminds him of yesterday. When he saved her, he was acting like a total main character. She tilts her head, fishing for a reaction while nervously twisting a sugar packet. Then she just goes for it and asks him out. He slams the table. Ananas can't date a peasant. She points right back at him. He's not exactly a peasant though, is he? She gets right in his face because she knows who he really is. The next head of the Ichijo family. He is busted. They are the shadow rulers of the entire country. She guesses he stays hidden to protect his loved ones. But he denies it. He just hates dealing with drama. He accepts his fate to produce an heir and keep the bloodline going. He knows his parents will sell him off eventually. Rei snaps the sugar packet because she knows the feeling. Her little sister is the same way. Zero ambition and zero interest. A kindred spirit. Minato demands to meet this lazy genius immediately. She warns him that her sister is still a kid. Then she panics. Is he trying to dodge her to go after the sister instead? The joke lands and the atmosphere softens. For the first time, she feels understood. And Minato realizes, this actually isn't so bad. She bows at the door and calls it the best coffee ever. She steps out, and when he tries to be a gentleman, she just waves him off. He admits he had fun, which is a rare honest moment for him. Outside, her heart is exploding. Mission accomplished. Rei tries to keep the vibes rolling and stutters his name, but she panics and aborts the mission instantly. Minato doesn't mind though. He realizes if she smiled like that in public, she would be way too powerful for the server. The next morning, his bro is yapping about some nonsense girl drama until the Ice Queen herself pulls up. She summons Minato in front of the whole class, and the gossip mill starts spinning immediately. His friend asks how he bagged the boss character. Rei responds with a death glare that deletes his HP bar. Minato is sweating bullets. The cute girl is gone and the pressure is back. She offers to come back later, but the cringe is already critical. Then, she drops the bomb. Her family picked her fiancé. Minato tanks the hit with a poker face. Inside, he knows the score. Arranged marriage usually means zero love. He asks who the guy is, but she hasn't even met him yet, so he swallows his feelings and tells her to survive the ordeal. She accepts the challenge like a soldier. The moment she leaves, the class goes feral. His friend offers a shoulder to cry on, and Minato has to scream that he didn't just get rejected. Back home, the apartment is dead quiet. Minato slumps on the couch, contemplating his doom. He wonders if he is trapped in a forced marriage just like Nanase. He tries to laugh it off, but the anxiety is real. Then his phone buzzes with a call from the big boss. Next thing you know, he is wearing full traditional gear, sweating bullets on the porch. He stares at the water basin, realizing he has no exit strategy. The frustration boils over. He screams at the empty yard, furious that the plot is rushing him. On the phone, his dad screams the good news. The bride is picked and the wedding is basically tomorrow. Minato panics, wondering why the universe is speedrunning his life. Later, he sits in the garden checking his watch, until he hears a jet engine. Suddenly, his dad skydives out of a helicopter. He free falls with zero parachute because physics is optional. He slams into the ground, introducing himself as the head of the Ichijo family. Shinya slaps Minato on the back, hyping up the mystery bride as a total beauty. He tells his son to stop slouching and act like a leader. Minato clutches his chest, forcing himself to play the part. He clenches his fist, needing to steel his nerves. He refuses to look weak in front of this Nenas girl, so he marches down the hallway with his squad trailing behind him. The servant leads him to the slaughter. Minato slides the door open, ready to object, but a grumpy old man sits there with a girl, shouting at him to accept his destiny. Minato freezes, totally blindsided by the aggression. And there she is, Nanas Rei. She introduces herself with perfect manners, then hits him with a cheeky smile and calls him darling. The elders bailed immediately, laughing their way out the door. Rei dropped a perfect bow, introducing herself as the second daughter of the non-ace clan. The silence got awkward until Ichijo finally asked what was going on. She invaded his personal space, calling him her dear husband. She dropped the bomb, revealing she was the arranged partner all along. Since their dads already shook on it, he was trapped. She roasted him for looking so timid back at the family meeting. Apparently, she trained her whole life just to make everyone simp for her. Ichijo kept it real. He told her he felt absolutely nothing. She took the rejection in stride, sliding him a cup of tea. Then she switched gears to the real business. Rei struck a pose, demanding to know what he thought of her look. When he mumbled a vague answer, she got right in his face. He finally admitted the white streaks actually suited her, but he backpedaled, claiming he preferred black hair just to follow school rules. She laughed, twisting his logic to mean he was totally obsessed with her. She swore they would be glued together from this moment on. Ichijo paused, realizing she meant that literally. She was moving into his apartment the very next day. His dad signed off on the madness without saying a word. The invasion was instant. Next day, boxes unpacked. Truck gone. Ichijo realized he was just an NPC in his own house. She got comfy on the bed, rating his setup like she paid the rent. He tried to bail, but she body blocked the exit. She patted the mattress, setting a blatant trap. When he froze, she hit him with the "Are you shy?" debuff. He sat down just to save face. Then she doubled down, daring him to lay down right next to her. That night, she cranked the culture to 11. She dropped the husband bomb and invited him to sleep over. Ichijo snapped. He wasn't gonna be the victim. Time to show some spine. He grabbed her, pinned her right to the sheets. He warned her about playing with fire. He even tugged her clothes to prove he wasn't bluffing. But she just blushed and said she was totally down for it. Ichijo folded instantly. He mumbled a sorry and tactical sprinted for the shower. leaving her to laugh at his negative riz. He gripped the sink, trying to hype himself up for round 2. He started getting undressed for a bath, but Nanase called out from the void. She peeked through the door, showing zero respect for his privacy. She offered to scrub his back, but he panicked and lectured her on male biology. Dinner was a battlefield. She sat way too close for comfort. She tried to feed him like a toddler, but he held his ground. He tried to focus on homework, sensing her presence lurking behind him. She grabbed his shoulders for a massage, completely shattering his concentration. He escaped to the convenience store just to lower his heart rate. While grabbing milk, he tried to organize his chaotic thoughts. He felt pathetic. He planned to make a move, but got played instead. Between the massages and the feeding, her offense was overwhelming. She was a total hurricane of fan service. He trudged home, terrified of what trap she had waiting next. The apartment was suspiciously quiet. He tiptoed inside, feeling like an intruder in his own crib. The grocery bag rustled, echoing like crazy in the silence. He downed some water, guessing she finally passed out. Exhausted, he retreated to his room to crash. He flipped the switch, thinking he was safe at last. The safe zone was a lie. Rei had already infiltrated the bed, waking up with zero shame. She dropped the ultimate trap card, claiming she accidentally stole his shirt just because she was addicted to his scent. He demanded the merch back, but she hit him with a hard nope and went right back to sniffing the collar. She even started bouncing around, testing his resolve with some aggressive fan service. Ichijo didn't fold though. He screamed about school tomorrow and booted her out. Rei wasn't taking no for an answer. She leaned in and dropped the bomb. Ichijo tried to set ground rules. He demanded a strict sleep-only policy. Rei agreed with a suspicious smile, then grabbed him anyway. He started spiraling. One wrong move and the Ichijo family name would be deleted forever. He finally caved and agreed to her terms. Rei lit up instantly, praising her dear husband. She patted the bed and demanded he get under the covers right now. The lights went out, but the tension turned up. Rei whispered and asked if his heart was pounding. He lied through his teeth. But as she rustled closer, his chest was about to explode. She tugged at his shirt, her voice getting small. She asked if she wasn't good enough to be his wife. Ichijo froze. He realized she was trying her best to be the perfect spouse. He had to navigate this minefield carefully. He hyped himself up and confessed that he actually liked her. He asked where they stood in their relationship. Silence. He looked over. Of course, she was fast asleep. She had exhausted herself moving boxes all day just to impress him. Even in her sleep, she mumbled about working hard for her husband. Ichijo couldn't help but smile as he tucked her in properly. He whispered goodnight, thinking he was safe. 1 hour later, she rolled over and glued herself to him. His heart rate spiked to 300. Yeah, he wasn't getting a single wink of sleep. The morning kicks off with a hard rejection, as Minato screams no to the idea of walking to school together. He is terrified of the rumors, but Rei just hits him with that silent, judging stare. She plays the fiancé card to demand quality time, then decides to make it spicy by teasing him about spending the night together. Minato freaks out and blushes hard, aggressively changing the subject to breakfast. He tries to stuff her mouth with toast to shut her up. It works for exactly 5 seconds until she finishes chewing. She suggests bringing a friend along as a buffer, but he vetoes that nightmare immediately. Rei corners him with logic, saying if they can't bring a friend, they have to go as a couple. She drops a sentimental line about just wanting to be near him, and Minato instantly crumbles under the pressure. He counters with a deal, no morning commute, but a secret grocery date after school. Rei happily accepts the marriage simulation. She vows to cook a feast tonight while Minato realizes he is in deep trouble and flees the scene alone. Rei drops a verbal nuke before dipping. She hits him with the husband title and a cheeky peace sign. Minato barely survives the critical hit to his heart. He drags himself to the elevator, totally whipped. He can't figure out how she is a tyrant at school but a total angel at home. He tells himself to lock in. He has to survive the shopping trip tonight. He sighs, desperate for a strategy to keep his sanity intact. Class 1A looks like a wasteland the next morning. His bro waves him down with the tea. The Ice Queen's engagement rumor put the entire fan club on life support. The guy suggests stealing her since it is just an arranged marriage. Minato screams no before he can think. He panics because he broke character, so he gaslights his friend to deflect. His friend calls her an angel and asks Minato's type. Minato shrugs and says he is bored of that face. But the dude describes her cold abuse like it is a reward. Then, the rage boils over. The simps start fantasizing about being stepped on by her. The whole room turns into a riot against the fiancé. They flash their official Nane's Love Association membership cards. Minato tries to explain it is a family thing, but they reject any guy who doesn't make her happy. They plan to capture the fiancé and wreck him. The mob screams in unison. They recruit Minato to find the target. Since he got rejected, he is the perfect undercover agent. Minato slams his desk because he just trapped himself. The boys push him to the front line, but the moment Rei walks in, the entire army abandons him instantly. Minato mocks their bravery. Rei shoots him a cute look while he melts from embarrassment. The gym teacher announced doubles tennis, and the class instantly descended into chaos. Minato froze, dreading the inevitable social warfare of finding a partner. He and Nad stood on opposite sides of the court, both secretly praying to the romance gods for the exact same thing. Minato tried to look busy, terrified of smelling desperate. He already accepted his fate as the loser who gets paired with the gym teacher. Until a hand grabbed his shoulder, Nane's popped the question right in front of the entire class. The class simps went nuclear, refusing to accept this reality. But Minato took the win, shaking her hand while the crowd crowned them the school's new power couple. The teacher called for warm-ups, and Nanase instantly locked in. Minato tried to warn her that his athleticism was non-existent, but she was already in the zone, bouncing the ball like a pro. He managed to return a weak shot, throwing in a cheesy compliment to break the ice. She laughed, but that smile quickly twisted into something demonic. He was too busy admiring her form to see the cannon coming. The ball screamed past his ear. Minato's stomach dropped, realizing the Ice Queen nickname wasn't just for show. She fired a power forehand. Minato sprinted right, barely scraping the ball back over the net. The teacher realized this wasn't a warm-up anymore. Nana smirked, aiming to send him straight to the lobby. Minato cursed, launching his body into a desperate dive to keep the rally alive. Suddenly, a new challenger intercepted the ball with a thunderous smash. Minato recognized Todo from the tennis club. She called out the Ice Queen for a duel. Nene forced a polite smile, but that vein popping on her neck said she was ready for war.